We haven't even seen the last picks, and I'm already ridiculously hyped for what this draft is shaping up to be. But, GoDz, what is the final piece that T1 could be looking for? What are they missing in this draft?
Missing an offlaner. I think just some kind of tanky boy to go in the front lines. Pair with the Mirana. If there's, if theoretically, if you can find a kill lane, that's nice. I don't think that's going to necessarily be easy. But like the Tide Hunter type heroes, Brewmaster gets banned, so I would lean towards something like a Tide.
I would really like Pango if I was T1.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if Kuga just. Yeah, Kuga's played it before. I really love Pango in general against Mars. Because you're really good at disrupting the arena, because obviously the wall doesn't like affect you when you're rolling. It's also a really great hero to deal with the tree ant pushes from Nature's. It's a hero that can get to your backline and kind of mess up Snapfire when she's trying to use her ult. I feel like you're right though that they lack like the front lining kind of hero like Tide, which would probably be better in that regard. On a purely matchup basis, I really like Pango here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on that other side, boom, we see the last bans for them are the Brew and that Beast. So obviously they're thinking about those off lanes as well. But what do they want to pick up? What are they going to be picking up here?
Probably saying to scale.
Yeah.
Like, right now they don't really have much late game, much objective taking Roshan potential. Like Nature's Prophet carry, sure, it can scale if they want to go down that route, but I think it's like it's very all in. And that's why I think these Void and PL bans suggest that, at least T1 think they're going to pick some kind of late game hero.
They could just go all in on their like aggression and just pick Razor. It's something they used to play a lot with Tino. Tino's Razor is probably his best hero, so they're pretty comfortable with running it. And Jackie plays it too.
I wouldn't even sign something like a carry Leshrac. We've seen that every now and then in the SCA region. Like playing in the TB, like right now they don't have good answers to the TB. Like the Mars Disruptor is okay, but I feel like even the Soundfire magic damage, for that you need that like Void Chronosphere to keep people in place or something. So I think some Leshrac AoE or some kind of, something early mid-game focus, the Razor also seems like a really good idea, would cause T1 problems.
Yeah, I really don't like the Leshrac Terrorblade matchup though. As it gets later, I think Lesh can't fight into the Scotty. That's just a Jackie hero. Whatever. We heard it 100 times.
You guys want to see something so different. Sometimes you forget that Wraith King's still in the pool.
That's true.
But with him being picked up, we see all of Boom's draft completed. And Chip, do you really like it? Do you think it is well-rounded and something that's going to fit quite well to their playstyle?
Yeah, I like Boom's lineup. I think I found it funny yesterday watching their drafts, and Jackie got his Medusa on 24 pick both games. And I was like, I feel like I've only seen this guy play Wraith King and Medusa like throughout the DPC. For the most, like he's played other stuff, but like those two were just his like bread and butter for so long. And somehow again, like he just gets a last pick on his like two best heroes right now. So he's definitely probably feeling pretty comfy. I'm very, very excited to watch Snapfire again. They have lots of combination. They have catch. They have the ability to push. They have the ability to take Roshan. They've covered so much in this draft.
You love to see it. T1 will soon be picking their last pick as well. And GoDz, who is the biggest threat on the side of Boom for T1 that maybe they should try and focus on with this last pick? That is going to be LC.
Ooh, I think Yopaj is the biggest threat. Honestly, I think they were more than happy to play into this Wraith King. They were more worried about the cores that cause problems for TB, like the Void with Chronosphere, the PL with the Mana Burn. If anything, TB is like a counter to the Wraith King in some ways. Maybe not as good as the Medusa, who hits like this Skadi timing. But TB, when he gets like Metamorph plus Skadi himself, like that Wraith King is going to struggle to get on top of a TB. And even if you do, physical damage is not how you beat a TB. So I think Yopaj is the guy to watch in this game. I think that's why the puck pick is so good, because it's a hero that's not going to get stomped in lane by a Snapfire. But I'm curious to see how like these support rotations work, because I think a lot of how this mid lane goes is going to come down to the supports themselves.
Hey, that's a good little segue, because normally I ask you guys predictions on the games or the series, but instead I'm going to ask you guys, which lane should we be focusing on? Where do you think is going to be the most amount of action, Sheep?
That's actually so hard. I feel like both FPZ and Cuckoo both want to be aggro on their heroes. Like Mars Legion are just heroes that tend to want to try and like win their lanes. So they'll probably be trying really hard. It's just a question of can they. I think TV and Wraith King are both pretty sturdy against the physical damage they kind of get out. So yeah, this is a game of the mids and how much impact they can have for sure. I'm definitely scared about Gabby getting big this game.
And what about you, God? Same sort of thing. Definitely going to be a lot of eyes on that mid.
I think so. I think there's some potential for Cuckoo to maybe have a good time in his lane. And, you know, if you manage to get like a nice kill or something on the Wraith King and force him into the jungle early, that could make the game look really good for T1. But I would say it's unlikely. I agree with Sheep. I think these carries are both pretty sturdy, hard to bully. So I think the supports and the way they play around mid lane, the rune control, that's going to be a lot more impactful this game.
It's going to be an absolutely banger of a game. So we're going to head into this game number 1 between Boom and T1 as I jump out of here and leave it to GoDz Sheep.
Alrighty, thank you, Nat and Sheep. I'm excited. Boom and T1. This is a spicy matchup, and I think crazily enough, the two teams we see here in the winner bracket final, they're the two teams that brought in new players. So roster stability, forget it. Let's bring in new stars. That's the key to success.
Keep kicking players until it works, guys.
Yeah. That's the moral of the story, apparently. What do you make of first? I mean, coming in, you've seen the drafts now. You see the odds there. Boom actually, favored. Would you kind of agree at least a little bit that Boom are maybe the upper dogs in this one, or do you think it's maybe a bit more even?
I think this game's totally even. I'm pretty hyped. I also don't see like when we're asked like, oh yeah, what lane do you think we're gonna see the most action in? I look at these two lineups and I actually don't think that any lane really gets hard stomped.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
It's one of those things where it feels like you could see the outplay. Like a Mars lane always has that kind of kill potential, but at the same time, it's TB. He shouldn't be going down, right? But
yeah, I mean, hopefully. I think it's like one of the better heroes that you could have picked in this situation because Mars and Nature's Prophet, I think they're laning together, and they both made like pretty much entirely do physical damage. God's Rebuke is physical. Nature's his whole thing is harassing with like the treants, right? Your TB has 30 like so much armor. It's like 10 plus armor. I think if there's one hero that's going to be able to like sustain through this damage, it's probably TB. He's very susceptible to magic nukes, and they don't have that.
And even though it is Tim's on the Nature's Prophet, the 4 position, he is going to the safe lane. So they are going to be doing that 5 position disruptor in the off lane just because they want to really send all their magic damage at that TB, whereas Nature's Prophet as a support, pretty good against Mirana since you can block those arrows with treants potentially.
Yeah, there's a great lane swap. Makes entirely sense for them to do it. I think Nature's Prophet is so good at bullying offlaners as well. Like, yeah, you're not going to have that impact against TV, but here, it's just great. Especially because when you're playing a 4 position that's ranged like Mirana, your whole like kind of purpose is that you really want to be able to just like clip the carry and make their life miserable, and Nature's is a hero that kind of fights back against that. It's like he's got a really good matchup against heroes like Rubik and stuff too. And they have like no real ways to clear the treants as well on those 4s, so their life is just hard.
Yeah, this Nature's Prophet support, not something we see often, but it feels like could be a good game for him. Looking at some of the other lanes, Sheepo, you gotta be pretty happy. You've been, asking and begging for the Yopaj Snapfire. You finally get it. What can we expect from a Yopaj Snapfire?
Yay! I'm not sure exactly how the matchup against Pep goes, because in my head, obviously, it seems really hard to actually kill him because of he can just dodge your cookie, he can just get away from you. It's like you don't really have the hard lockdown for it, and they don't have anything with like an instant stun like a Rubik or a Lion that like can rotate to mid and help him kill the puck. So they'll probably be kind of hoping more for like a disruptor level 6 before they can really start shutting down puck.
Okay. Well, so far it's just been a lot of harass trade in the mid lane with Scatter Blast being spammed out, Puck spamming his orb, and similar story in the side lanes. Like you've got a Disruptor up against Shadow Demon. They've got like triple mango, those 5 mangoes on Disruptor. They are just spamming constantly to try and bully each other out of the lane, but to no avail just yet. So doesn't look like we're going to see any of these lanes be like convincingly won. As you know, Nat was asking like which lane to look at. It feels like there's not like an obvious lane that is going to be stomped.
Yeah, and I'm mostly just watching mid for now because I think it's interesting how I guess you can fake pump the animations on your spells as Snapfire. So I actually think it's really hard, like watching it now and learning, I think it's really hard for Puck to actually be able to dodge things like Scatter Blast. Because if he just keeps like faking the animation, how are you going to know when he's actually going to do it? And the spell comes out so fast when you actually release it. That like, yeah, I think he's eaten like at least 4 or so of them already in this lane, and he's just keep getting worn down.
Yeah. I was even earlier on, I was seeing him like he didn't even want to maybe dodge it because he was worried about a cookie as well hitting him. Oh, he baits it down the mid lane, but no, he gets the Jawn away. There we go. As soon as phase shift goes on cooldown, he's like, I'm going to go aggressive now. I'm going to run at you. You use phase shift, and top lane, this first blood, it's going to be on the Disruptor. The Metamorph being committed with the Shadow Demon. Disruption to set it up, and just well microed with the illusions.
Yeah, PC's really eating a bunch of damage here. This is a bit of a scary lane, actually. If Whitemon is able to rack up a few stacks on you, it's like... I'll be real, I had no idea how Shadow Demon really worked until recently, but it's... Because I never play support, right? I was like, oh, it turns out you need like the 5 stacks, and then you do so much damage with the...
Well, we're seeing it top now. He's got 4 stacks. It's not quite enough, but it's going to let the kill go to Gabby. So Gabby gets himself a kill in the top lane. This lane is working wonders for T1.
Yeah. So if you're like me and you're stupid and you don't know anything about the support role because you're a horrible core player, when Shadow Demon gets 5 stacks of his poison on you, I believe it doubles the damage or something. So if you get 5 stacks on this off lane at all, they actually just die straight up like that. When you have meta running too. And he's maxing it. He's got 2 points in the Shadow Poison.
Get 5 stacks, just assume you're dead. That's kind of, you know, I'm a dumb core player, and that's my assumption when I'm playing carry against a 4-position Shadow Demon. I'm just dead. Lane's over. Yeah. 5 poisons on me, and if it's level 2 Shadow Poison, yeah, there's no getting out.
Oh, you're probably just stealing Carl's small camp. That's kind of sad for him.
He's definitely winning the kind of economy battle so far in the mid lane. And with this early soaring, he's just got the consistent spam against Carl's Puck, who can't really sustain himself against this. So definitely a tough lane for him. He's going for the cookies kill. Carl is... Oh, wow. Carl actually held onto the Jawn. He still gets low. The burn damage over time. He survives on 50 health. Yopaj is looking for it. The Scatter Blast through is not going to be enough. Nicely played by Carl. As top lane, they go in, and Zephyr gets a kill onto Skem with the rotation. So T1 bring both supports to the top lane. Heads up play from Carl mid. I feel like Yopaj thought he was going to jaunt away, and he threw the cookies mid, and he just didn't jaunt.
Mind games. Okay,
Down
so
bottom.
we're moving in towards 6 minutes now as well. So there'll be a lot of movement.
Okay. Just gets chopped down by the Wraith King. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So the power run's coming up in 15 seconds. Both the supports, Zephyr, Whiteman, they got that kill top and then instantly started moving towards mid. Skem also coming mid to refill Yopaj's bottle. They're all like posing, getting ready for a little skirmish.
Yep.
And it'll
Going to be a top rune. Well done by T1. They had control over both runes with the support migration to the mid lane. And Yopaj not having kisses meant he didn't really want to go for a fight, but he still has a full level advantage on this Puck. So almost level and a half advantage. He just hit level 7. This Puck is level 5.5. So it's been a little bit concerning for Carl's game. So Mirana will get out of back to safety, but it does feel like we're seeing why Yopaj's Snapfire is so respected in the SEA region here.
Yeah, I think it's really, really good and important that T1 moved their supports and ensured that they had the rune. I think Carl's game is kind of like, you want to be going around and making moves on the map and pressuring, because Yopaj is content to farm. Like, his timing as a Snapfire is always going to be when the kisses come up for sure, but like, you are most scared of a Snapfire when they get the like blink shard at 20 minutes. And I think Yopaj, he likes to build the booster travel too, and then he starts to move around the map. So he's just like happy farming. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna farm. I'm gonna get my travels, and then I'm gonna start moving. I'm gonna start doing things. Puck probably feeling maybe a little bit more pressured in that sense.
On bottom, Cuckoo could be in some trouble. Gets Sprout blocked in. With the Yopaj rotation on the Snapfire, they've still got a Scatter Blast, so Cuckoo is going to get eaten alive by the shotgun. Nice rotation from Yopaj.
Yeah. Oh, and now Yopaj is doing a TV straight off.
Yeah. They were looking for more. They've got the kisses too. The banish was used, but they're going on Gabby. Gabby's trying to run, but he needs the Sunder target. He hasn't even leveled the Sunder yet. He jukes into the trees. One more kiss will hit him, but he's not going to go down. The magic stick charges was just enough. Instead, they lose the Shadow Demon and possibly the Mirana as well. So a great rotation from Yopaj. Gets both supports. Fortunately for T1, they keep Gabby alive on the Terrorblade.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta feel kind of bad about this one. I mean, Carl's the one getting the power rune, and Yopaj is still actually being more active than him.
Yeah.
I guess
wants to
it's
make sure
nice
they get
because
the
he can do
next.
so much. Yeah.
8-minute rune coming up. Yopaj cookies forward and bottles himself an Invis rune. Nicely played, but now he's being called up. He's going to break it instantly. Have they got any detection for this one? Drops a sentry. And Carl going to actually join himself forward. The glimpse going onto the support there as he finishes off Yopaj. Nicely done by T1 to get that kill.
Yeah, very dangerous to kick yourself in there. Snap is not the, she can die, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of expected for T1 to be wanting to bring their supports to every power rune. So maybe a little mistake there, but that's okay. They're pressuring top in the meanwhile on Boom. That's like the nice thing about having a Nature's Prophet is that you don't need a cart to pressure towers. Just take that.
We'll look to fight this one. T1, even though they lost their tower, they've got 4 heroes up here and they are looking to punish this. The disruption in arrow will land onto FBZ's Morris, so he's definitely dead. And looks like Tim's will get out okay on the Nature's Prophet. No Dream Coil to catch him, so a decent kill goes T1 way, but a fairly important tower at the same time, I guess, if you're Boom.
Yeah, the TB is just gonna want to farm as much of the map as he can. So when you take away towers from him, it means that you have more space as a team to kind of invade and take space away. Like most offlaners, they enjoy taking the enemy safe lane tower, farming through their jungle, connecting to mid and pressuring the mid tower that way, and that's kind of like a natural flow if you're winning the game really hard.
Oh,
If they're
bottom
able
lane.
to take space from him.
They go on Cuckoo, and they will get the kill. Kiss is being committed.
This is so sad.
This death actually doesn't matter.
Jackie's just being quietly free farming, top of the net worth chart. And with a Yopaj rotation, they find an easy kill there. But you're talking about the TB, and it feels like his game is going okay, but has been pushed back in the jungle. And unlike a Wraith King, he can't kind of aggressively farm lanes because Wraith King, you've got reincarnation, you've buy time for your teammates to rotate in. TB, you have to always be a little bit more cautious, I would say.
Yeah, or you could just be Jackie with not level your reincarnation. But they don't know. They don't know
Yeah.
he doesn't have it.
He's holding, you know, he's got a skill point.
Yeah.
But mid lane, meanwhile, disruption into silence. Scam, level 4 disruptor, going for a D ward. He'll take the sentry with him.
I think the moves on Boom have just been really good. They like killing when you kill Cuckoo bot, like they take that tower. They stop T1 from being able to pressure their own safe lane tower the way that they just did top. So right now they have their mid tower up, they have their bot tower up. Their map is just way more open and there's more places for them to farm safely than there is for T1 right now. I think the best case scenario moving forward here is if they can find a way to take that mid tower, but at this point if you're T1, you're like, okay, this is our only tier 1 tower still up, we have to defend this thing. Like, it is absolutely imperative.
One of the things they're doing really good is keeping an eye on all the farming going on. Nature's Prophet constantly sending treants into the enemy jungle just to block camps from spawning, to scout enemy heroes, to just really keep tabs of what's happening on the map. So definitely one of the strengths of this Nature's Prophet as a support. You see it? Do T1, do you feel like, need to make moves with this puck, or are they just happy to kind of sit back and enable the TB?
I'd like it if they made moves. I mean, they're making one now with a smoke, which is fantastic. Because, like, you have so much kill threat with Shadow Demon and Mirana together. Like, this is... You can kill anyone. We've seen it already.
Right.
Every time they go together as a duo, they're just, like, finding pickoffs.
Boom themselves are smoked up with a couple of heroes headed top, including the Yopaj Snapfire, who does have kisses back up, but both teams for now avoiding one another. Tim's does show mid, and that could be a target for T1 to go on, but doesn't look like it's going to be particularly easy. And they've even rotated Gabby mid, so if they can find some kills or win a fight around here, they've got the metamorphosis to push and take a tower. Instead, they're going to find Jackie. Wraith King gets banished up. The arrow going to fall up. He has leveled up Reincarnation now, and the TP's coming to the outpost, so they are going to look to make sure they defend him. And with the disrupted TP into a Static Storm, both these T1 supports are in a world of hurt. TPing in also was Yopaj with the Boots of Travel, and now Cuckoo, he's going to find a way out. He's got a TP. He's been scanned up. Juking through the trees. He does manage to get away from Yopaj. Looks like he should be okay here. Not wanting to TP out just yet, but it doesn't seem like Boom are fishing for him.
I actually didn't even think about that. The Yopaj's travels, he can just TP onto the tree ants from nature, so they never have to worry about playing near a wave when they make their smoke plays. It can be like, yeah, we can just find someone with the natures, get the sprout, use the tree ants, and then the Yopaj will always be there. Or they could set up on a side lane in the trees with tree ant, TP in. Like, it's a threat, you know? It's a threat you have to think about if you want.
Was that just T1 going for like the wrong target, or do you think they shouldn't have been making that move to begin with?
I think they both had the same idea, which was pretty funny actually. Watching Boom like swing top to try and make a play, and then T1 swing bot to try and make a play was good. I don't think you can be going on Wraith King. It takes too long for them on T1 to kill him. Because they have very little burst damage. Boom have all this magic nuke from Snapfire. Maz does a hefty amount himself with the spears. They don't have the same thing on T1. They have a very good stun setup that takes a few seconds to set up, and in that whole time you're doing that, someone's already TPing in and reacting. They don't have nukes. It's much harder for them to kill someone quickly and get out. So I think you need to be killing anyone else but Wraith King.
Yeah, and he didn't even end up using his reincarnation cooldown, so not the outcome they were perhaps hoping for, but T1 keeping this game at least somewhat even in terms of overall farm. They're behind perhaps where it counts, which is the Terrorblade against Wraith King. And Terrorblade, speaking of which, has been caught by a glimpse. Gets pulled back into arena. The spear going to go as well as the Static Storm, and Yopaj is there with a TP in. Cuckoo could be next. He's being hit by the Mortimer's Kisses. Full retreat as the Sprout going to lock him in place as well. One more kiss is not going to clip him. The spear is just out of range. Cuckoo glimpse back though. That's going to surely be the death of him. He's got no blink dagger, no mobility, and Boom finding kills wherever they go.
I thought you were just saying that as like a sound, like, and boom, they got him.
Boom. Boom goes the dynamite.
Oh. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Nice fight. I mean, they're just so good. They're just moving everywhere and applying so much pressure. I think it's hard for T1 to deal with right now. I really think Yopaj just is so good at showing the strength of Snapfire as a core. I mean, he's just been going everywhere, you know? I'm like saying, oh yeah, I'm sure he's chills at his farm his boost of travel. Nah, he goes bot, gets a kill, TP's top, gets a kill. Like, he just keeps... I mean, he just keeps owning, and Kiss is going to be up again in 30 seconds, and that's another fight that they can take. I don't think T1 have been properly enabling Carl's game right now. I don't think I felt the impact of Carl's puck yet.
Yeah. One of the heroes we also maybe haven't felt the impact of as a core is Cuckoo's Legion. You know, still's trying to farm up a play mail, then a blink later on. Where do you see this Legion fitting in going forward? Does he need to be joining these smoke ganks, or is it just he needs to farm up his items?
I think this is the issue that I see in their draft with the lack of burst damage, right? Is that who is killing the heroes in these duels? Like Snapfire alone has 1,700 health. That's a very hard duel. Wraith King, like we talked about, with Armlet, like this hero's not dying.
There's a regen rune that's being baited here. Rotating in is Zephyr on the Mirana. Gets a nice double stars on to finish off Scam once more. But Yopaj is going to get himself back to safety with the blink out. They have called up FBZ now, and with the kisses raining in, this could be bad for T1 as Cuckoo charges forward the blade mail. Doesn't get the jewel off. Nice sprout from Tims. Bails out his buddy there, but Boom have already lost 2, and they do want to re-engage and fight here with Jackie's Wraith King having a blink dagger. They think about going forward. Cuckoo, no jewel to play around with just yet, but they may kill off Jackie once. That's the reincarnation. Will they look for another play on him? It doesn't seem like T1 have any interest. They've already got the 2 kills and made a nice work of a team fight here in the mid lane.
Cuckoo got the cheekiest little jewel off on a support as he died. You know, when you're just like, yeah, I can't duel a core. I'm just gonna settle for the support and 1 health.
He's like, we're playing for the late game. I need to get whatever dual damage I can.
Yeah.
That was nice, though, from T1.
For sure, yeah, actually. I think the Puck having Witchblade now is pretty nice damage, actually. My game is bugging out. The camera just keeps swinging, like, going upwards. Stop that. Stop, bad camera. Alright, I fixed it.
Sure. I can see on the minimap where your camera is, and I just see it, like, flying all over the place. I'm like,
I don't know why I did that.
what are you doing, Cheapo?
I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, okay. So they're getting more sources of damage coming out now. Witchblade, Puck, Blade Mail, Legion Commander. I think if she went Blink, then they really struggle, but the Blade Mail actually is pretty nice. The Shadow Demon as well. Like, when you're able to get more points up in Soul Catcher and get the purge off, it's gonna be a good way of just, like, removing a big chunk of health to, like, start a fight on someone, and that should help them be able to maybe just finish off a duel.
Yeah. See where these two teams go for now. Looks like, you know, a bit of momentary farm, maybe getting some of these tier 2 neutral items, but T1, they're looking for their next kills, their next plays. They're smoked up around this mid lane. They saw FBZ there earlier. They may catch Tims as well. Whitemon gets vision from above, planting a nice observer ward on the hill, but doesn't look like T1 want to overcommit underneath this tower. Right now, Boom not set up to defend this with 5 heroes, but they could very quickly TP in.
This was a nice play by T1. They are bringing in Gabby to make a move.
They're not done. T1, they get the blink in onto FBZ's Mars. He goes down. Carl even committing the Dream Call. They just want to make sure they get this T1 tower with the Metamorphosis being committed and Gabby having a BKB on his TB. They should be able to get it. And the nice jewel in the backlines. Cuckoo has found one more. Another winner for him. Glimpse back could perhaps punish him, but the disruption save from Whitemon is there, and Gabby now ready to help him out as they go looking for more with Carl's Puck on the front lines, but they haven't got the control without the Dream Coil, so does look like T1 will settle for 2 kills on a T1 tower. Very nice finds for them.
Okay, I'm respecting this. It's I'm not sure if they're just not set up properly as a team, but like it's kind of horrible when like if Puck coils someone, they do just die because there isn't really any save from Boom. I think the most save that they have is that Scam needs to be in position, ready to use Static Storm to kind of like disrupt the spell usage, like break up the combo. But it seems a little hard to play into that, I suppose. So yeah, really nice picking up FBZ there at the start of the fight.
Well,
Maz is a huge part of control there for their team, so when he dies, they can just keep going.
yeah. The response from Boom, though, is to immediately go push the enemy tier 1 mid tower, knowing that, you know, much like themselves, they don't see T1 set up to defend this. There's no Metamorphosis, there's no Dream Coil, so both teams end up trading tier 1 mid towers, and that does put a bit of pressure on T1, I feel like, because Roshan is something that, you know, at some point Boom could theoretically go for. This Desolator, I believe, coming out on Wraith King. The damage is definitely there, and that's something T1 are always going to have to at least keep tabs on and be nearby to contest.
Yep, that's true. Gabby's getting really scary now as well. He's chugging along towards a Scotty, and he has a BKB, so I don't think he should die in a fight. I mean, swinging back to the idea of burst damage, Boom would have to get a really nice spear up on him to start a fight, and he would have to not have a Shadow Demon around to protect him. I feel like most fights he will be getting his BKB off. And I don't know how they kill him through that.
They smoked up. They thought about Roshan, but Mirana shot an arrow in there, saw nothing coming, and instead it's Boom smoking towards the mid lane, but Jackie unable to connect with the initiation there, gets slowed down by a reflection, so he's going to be a little bit careful. As far as these carries going, mentioned, yeah, Gabby's getting scary. Jackie himself, both these carries kind of neck and neck. How do you feel like these two carries match up, and how does this game look as we head towards the late game?
Oh, I mean, I think TV is very good against Wraith King, and oh, that's a dead Nature's Prophet. Rest in pieces. And it's so scary when you have not only Shadow Demon, but also Legion Commander behind him. Like, Gabby is getting huge, and how are you going to kill him when he can just be purged, like, of all stuns? Like, he's guaranteed to live as long as his teammates are set up properly behind him.
Yeah,
and I don't know if they can kill him.
Shard, yeah, Legion Shard just about 1,000 gold away, so that's going to be problematic with saves from Legion and Shadow Demon. How do you? I mean, I guess what's the plan for Boom then? You don't, if you can't rely on killing the TB, do you go for other targets? Like how do they approach the fight and have things go their way?
Definitely think the best fights come when they play on vision and they can see the backline. The backline is basically the name of the game for T1, right? Keep Shadow Demon and LC in position, protect Gabby, fight around Gabby. Gabby's like a magnet for T1. He is their big win condition. If you stick around him in a fight and let him just kill everyone, I mean, he'll do his job. He'll push the towers, he'll kill heroes. Boom, if they can somehow get enough vision of these supports and LC, like, then that's how their fight can be. Like Wraith King. I think if Wraith King is able to jump on top of Shadow Demon, he should die in the space of a stun. This dude is packing damage. He's got his armor, he's got his Desolator. He's going for a BKB, so he can't be controlled up. He should be able to just cleave Whitemon in half if he can see him. And then if you get a good arena down onto LC, then yeah, okay, maybe Gabby is going to be able to like use his meta and start hitting. But I think if LC and Shadow Demon are dead, his fight becomes a lot harder, and then it just becomes a game of kiting on Boom.
Here we go, both teams smoked up, and it's going to be the Puck who gets instantly blink, stunned, and speared. That's a dead Puck. He couldn't get the phase shift off in time, and now the kisses come raining down onto Cuckoo. 2 dead on the T1 side, right out of the pause. Boom, they strike fast, they strike hard, but they will lose the Disruptor in the process as Gabby's Terrorblade on the front line still has a BKB to play around. He may be looking to fight with this, but Metamorphosis was committed. He's being rooted up now, has to BKB just to stop himself getting stunned up. And Jackie, he's got no reincarnation. He's in trouble. The TB's on top of him with a Reflect the Cookie down to the low ground, but he's hard committed. Gabby needs to find a Sunder target. If he's not careful, he could be in some trouble here, but looks like he's going to just get himself out of there. Whitemon Shadow Demon getting low as Gabby goes charging forward, gets the Sunder off to start things off on a Tim's, and the right click with the Metamorph follows it up to get the kill. Yopaj could be next if he's not careful. He illusion runes, but still gets clipped by the arrow. Oh, Zephyr was there waiting for him and nailed him with that arrow. The sniper in the jungle. And it's T1 who come out on top.
That's not good. I mean, Jackie jumped in there, but that was very, very brave. They even were playing on vision. It was their ward that was on the cliff, and that's probably what empowered him to feel confident to jump back in. But yeah, no, you get ulted up by Shadow Demon. You can't move. It's so hard. They tried to cook him down to the low ground, but it just isn't. He just wasn't able to get close enough to go down.
I'll take another look at the fight here with the replay. I mean, it starts so well when you kill off 2 cores instantly like that, but that really just goes to show how damn strong this Terrorblade is when you can win a fight 3 versus 5. Like, sure, a lot of those spells are on cooldown, but TB just did it all on his own with a little bit of help from, like, a couple of stuns here and there.
Yep. And I think, like, getting the pick off on Puck there was nice in the way that I think T1's LC and Shadow Demon are in position, right? They're just playing towards Gabby, which means that, you know, maybe Carl's Puck is a little bit more vulnerable. So they were able to burst him and kill him before anyone could connect. Whoa, as he gets away. So close.
Close, yep. Had the reflection illusion chasing him, but luckily got the blink off first. Definitely, I think T1 on some level just, you know, they're hoping Carl can, like, fast fingers react on the phase shift there. It's very hard to do so when Wraith King has vision of you and jumps in melee range with the stun, but we'll see both these teams now posture around this Roshan. Do you think, does either team have an edge when it comes to Roshan, or does it just come to, you know, finding a pick-off or winning a fight first before they can go into Roshan?
I don't think I can see either team, like, just going in and doing it. There's always such a big threat because obviously Boom have, like, Arena Static Storm, which is very deadly, and then T1 similarly have, like, Coil. It's not the best because he doesn't have an Ags yet, so if they do have BKBs, then it's kind of okay with them. They don't yet. They're actually smoking up when Wraith King doesn't have his BKB finished, which is a little scary.
They don't want to waste any time. They want to fight now. Legion Commander, though, just finished off his Ag Shard, so there's that extra layer of save to play around. Blink in from the Mars. He didn't connect with the Spear on anyone, though, so at this point, Boom kind of revealed their position. The arrow, I think it landed. It hit Jackboy, so he's in a bit of trouble, but does have the double lives to play around. We'll get back to a little bit of safety here as the arena just being used to deter any further chase here, but they've coiled up too, which means a dead Skem, and they've taken out the first life of the Wraith King as well. The arrow finds him on the respawn, so Jackie is done for with the Cuckoo, with the dual snipe as well, just to make sure he gets some bonus damage along the way. Disruption's there to find Yopaj as well, and there's no TP out for him, so T1 have just found all the kills they need to set themselves up for a free Roche.
Zephyr, God! Sets up the best fight with that arrow onto Wraith King, and it smoked up. He didn't see it. I don't know. He got hit, and then amazing arrow again onto the reincarnation. Like, Wraith King set up the arrow against him, so.
Definitely one of the maybe downsides of the hero at times, and for Boom, yeah, we're maybe just seeing that they've got this Mars disruptor, but their teamfight's still feeling a little bit lackluster in terms of what Nature's Prophet's bringing to the table, for example, and when they get jumped like that, things just go so bad for them.
Yeah, I'm very scared at this point. I think Gabby is definitely reaching territories of strength that can't be dealt with anymore. It's 26 minutes. Yopaj hasn't finished his shard yet. That's gonna be a big strength for them when they do get it, but Rating is really struggling.
Yeah.
I think that smoke may have been a mistake not finishing the BKB first. I don't know how much it changes. Obviously he got hit by arrow like without realizing it to start the fight, and that's kind of like a life down already. I'm not sure how a BKB changes the second life other than helping him get out alive. I don't think he could have fought with it. So I guess their initiation was a little bit botched. What can you do? Like, I think you just reset and try and but like avoid fighting while they have this Aegis. Just cut lanes. FBZ's cutting top. Sorry, Tim's is pushing in bot. They're just gonna have to try and pressure them out the best they can while this Aegis is up.
Yeah, definitely a big part of it does just seem like the matchup issue where they picked this Wraith King into TB partly because there maybe just weren't any great carry options left, but all that thought is down bottom. Puck Carl actually gets sunned up. The Static Storm follows him. And he's going to go down here. Got a bit greedy going for the kill on Tim's. Cuckoo is coming in with the Moonlight Shadow, and he's looking for Tim's here. May find him in just a second. Cuckoo has the jewel, and he's going to go for it. We'll bring down the Nature's Prophet, but White One once more. Ooh! Almost had the disruption. Ends up accidentally disrupting himself there, but he was so close to catching Jackie.
You're pretty happy with that as Boom. They have Aegis, but you're still managing to get a kill onto their mid hero. Like that's pretty nice play. That's the kind of thing you're like hoping for. And as soon as they get it right, they get out with everyone else that they can. They're already back to like pushing top with FBZ. This is definitely like the right way to deal with your situation right now. And we'll see how they deal with the Aegis expiring. I'm not sure if they're strong enough as a team to say like, okay, we're going to smoke up as the Aegis expires and take that fight. I don't know if they're in that kind of position. It's probably still back to before the Aegis where it was, yeah, we want to take fights on our wards and kind of just get the best jump we can.
For T1, they want to fight while they've got this Aegis. The Puck may be dead, but has boots of travel, so can rejoin the team pretty quickly here if need be. But they do have to address this top lane that's constantly being pushed in by Nature's Prophet Treants and the Mars as well, clearing out waves. So they'll get the bottom tier 2 tower, but looks like they're going to be forced to come top to defend. But they want kills up here as well. Carl shows himself on the wave, but Cuckoo is in the trees. May find a kill here. Puck goes in forward, gets caught in the Static Storm, but the spear pushes him out. Oh, and he also gets bailed out by the nice press the attack, giving him that temporarily magic immunity. Gets rooted by the Nature's Prophet. That Aghanim Scepter causing some, issues chasing, but it's not really offering any kill threat as T1 do a great job baiting Carl and bailing him out, knowing that the Legion Commander was going to be able to save him with the shard.
Awesome bait. Awesome bait. They really just committed full on to that play. They TP'd so many heroes. They know that Boom are playing sneakily along these side lanes. It's not a matter for Boom of like, oh, Puck showed we have to like back off from top. They don't have that space on the map. They don't see enough heroes to know what's going on. They want to keep playing top, so they try and make that play on Puck thinking is alone, but no, T1 just totally outplayed them. It was a really lovely bait, good play.
Off of that, they poking at the doors of Boom, coming to the tier 3 towers up top. They've taken all outer towers now, so next objective is going to be the high ground. And we'll see if Boom have the tools to defend this one. They haven't got much left on the Aegis, just the 50 seconds though, so if they can delay this just enough, they may be able to find an opening to jump in and go on Gabby. Nice Manta to dodge the stun here, but he's not done. He's just going to keep on pushing, keep on chipping at this tier 3 tower, while Nature's Prophet does a little bit of work cutting some waves. Arrow is going to land on Jackie here, but he's being ignored. Smoke behind.
Just cut the wave.
Boom. They're making a move. They want the back line. But Cuckoo scouts it out on the Legion Commander, and now instead it's going to be FBZ catching out the Mirana. And it looks like that will be a dead Zephyr here, but he pops the pipe. He's surviving a bit longer, almost gets another leap out of there. He will end up going down, but the TB just took melee racks. Nothing defending top, and boom. They may have killed the Mirana, but they lost Skem in the process, and also did not defend their top lane.
Yes, definitely. It seems really hard for them to take fights on Boom, like up front like that, when they kind of push into them with the Aegis. It's, I mean, you kind of just have to let it go.
I mean, hold that thought, bottom lane. Carl, we've seen this one before. It's the puck. Carl getting a little bit too over-eager with some of his aggressive farming and getting punished for it. So Boom doing a good job hunting down Carl several times here, but it is still, it feels like T1 on the front foot with this TB feeling a little bit unstoppable. Is there a point or an item that Boom can deal with this TB, or is it just like, let's kill everyone else and just hope we can maybe deal with TB last or something?
Maybe if... I mean, Mars has so many items to get.
Got the duel onto FBZ. He is very, very dead. Mortimer's just not going to crack it here in terms of the damage output, and Jackie is just losing the battle against this Terrorblade. There's no Metamorphosis, but Gabby doesn't seem to have a problem with that because he's just going to BTP out. Good job taking the Wraith King's first life and getting out safely. Gabby is fitting in perfectly into this T1 roster, it feels like.
There is no meta, though, so you're not too worried, at least for a little while, on Boom. They're just going to spread out and keep trying to pressure the map. I feel like Maz, if he can get his BKB and a refresher, this is very late. I'm talking very late game here. That might be a way to give yourself a good way to fight as Boom, because I don't want the arena for the sake of trying to kill heroes, but if they can use like 2 arenas to kind of wall out Gabby when he's meted, because obviously he can't attack through the walls. Even if he's BKB'd, his attacks will get caught on the walls. The BKB only allows him to walk through the arena. Right, so if they're able to kind of go on the rest of his team and use arenas to sort of separate him from the fight, I feel like that could be really good. It's kind of really hard to do though, so that's why it's kind of like an ideal situation type thing.
And farming up any kind of refresher is going to take quite some time here, especially with Tim's as farmed as he is. And, you know, it's kind of become his job to keep these lanes pushed out. It does feel like they can get, like, well and truly into late game Dota because of all the split push coming from Tim's. He's got the Aghanim Scepter and the Shard for those greater treants, but as a result, some of his teammates are a little bit underfarmed.
For sure. It's kind of like I see ways of them to take fights, but it requires things like a Disruptor Axe, which this man, I don't know if he will ever get. It's Skem. He's position 5. He can't touch a single creep in this game. Does he even have a Philosopher's Stone? He does not.
His teammate does. Tim's does. Like, he's already got Axe Refresher. Like, what more do you need?
He'll give it over eventually when he's 6-lit.
The funniest thing was when they found it, the Mars actually kept it for like the first 5 minutes. I was like, what's Mars doing with the Philosopher's Stone? These greedy core players.
I do respect FBZ going Yules on Mars this game. I think it's really helped them kill the puck. Really nice idea.
Yep. Well, speaking of that puck, they found Skem, and Skem knows it. He was just throwing his life to D-Ward, but they're not done. They've also caught FBZ here, and without a BKB, another dual kill going the way of T1. Cuckoo up to plus 140 now. Oh boy.
Yep. It's hard. It's really, really hard. I mean, you can't have the full... Because obviously what they want to do is they want to keep running out onto the map. And you don't want to be stuck in your base as like 4 heroes, and that's horrible. It leads to an extreme net worth deficit. So you have to try and make the plays. But when Gabby's running around with the Silver Edge and able to find... like FBZ there, it's so hard to play. You can't have sentries all over the map, so you will just end up getting caught out in situations like that. It's kind of like desperation plays that Boom keep making, which is not the situation you really want to find yourself in, but at least they're trying to do something.
T1 poke at the high ground, then back off. They've got Roshan waiting for them if they want to go for it, so Aegis and Aghanim Shard probably uncontested. It just feels like Boom is so much on the back foot. And I got to ask you, but one of the, the player hero combos, the Yopaj Snapfire that we were so excited to see, it's felt a bit quiet since we've left the laning phase. Is this just the nature of the hero, or is it just like, why are we not feeling the same impact as we did yesterday when he was getting 30 kills?
It might just be the fact that I mean, like they picked it seeing the mid matchup, right? I mean, the fight's about to break out. I'm kind of
yeah. Don't worry. You got some time. You got some time.
Oh, I'm scared.
Both. They want to contest this. Roshan Puck finds the backline support, so gets the Droom Coil out onto one. It didn't hit the Disruptor and the Yule Scepter, and he's going to be in the Static Storm himself. Gets bursted down on the Shadow Demon. They've killed off the support. Both sides trying to see what they can find here as the Wraith King's lost his first life, and that TB just eats him alive with the dual kill as well. Going Cuckoo's way, plus 170 now. Now it looks like T1 aren't done. They're still hunting, looking for more. They committed the Metamorph, so they want to fight right now. They still have a little window where they can fight with that one. But it doesn't look like they're going to find anything else, so maybe they just go for the Roshan here. All right, yeah, I think you've got a moment now. Yopaj Snapfire. Why is this not the same Yopaj Snapfire from yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely looking to go that direction at the beginning of the game. I thought his movements around the map were really good. He was getting kills. He was making impact. I'm not exactly sure the moment that it fell off so hard, but I think they took a couple of pretty poor fights where they did reach timings on T1. They had Witchblade on Puck. They had their supports were getting levels. They had Ult and Shadow Demon, and they were able to just kind of get these pickoffs and start taking good fights. And when those started happening, it kind of slowed down Boom's momentum. And this whole time, Gabby was just power farming.
Yeah. And Gabby has become the big late game problem here. Static Storm comes out, but Puck blinks his way out of that one from the phase shift, so looks like T1 with the dead Wraith King are going to get themselves a second lane of racks without much of a fight. And we'll see if there's a response from Boom to defend this bottom lane or not, because I don't think T1 are done. They've still got this Aegis in hand on Gabby.
Yeah, I just felt like when TB got his BKB, Snapfire no longer really outputs damage onto him, and with the amount of save they have, it felt like they had no real way to deal with it.
Gabby just sitting on the high ground. Meanwhile, Yopaj, yeah, he's, well, caught in the back lines. Completely in no man's land, getting tipped up here as Carl tries to finish off the Wraith King on his first life. Unsuccessful, but what really matters perhaps is the base going down. Mega Creep's about to be picked up as Carl just zones him away, keeps him in the fountain, keeps him away from Gabby, who is just having a flawless game on this Terrorblade, it feels like. Mega Creeps are picked up, and it just doesn't feel like there's much Boom can do anymore.
Oh, Gabby's so strong.
Well, if there were any doubts about the T1 pickup bringing Gabby into the team, I think he's answered a few of them today with his TP as well as yesterday with his PA, but his work's not done here. He's going to fight and deal with Jackie once more. The two new carry players juking it out here in the mid lane, and Boom Esports will be bested in game number 1. They GG out of this. As T1, they strike first, Sheepo, and it was pretty convincing in the end in some ways. Like, the early game was looking good for Boom with some of their early aggression, particularly around the early game power of the Snapfire, but once T1, you kind of mentioned the BKB timing of TB, it felt like they didn't have a good answer for BKBs.
I didn't. It felt rough, and they had a pretty poor core-to-core matchup on the carries as well, which is kind of sad because it means that if Yopaj does fall off, like into a BKB timing, your carries aren't really picking up the slack, and yeah, I mean, I felt like we just saw some poor fight decisions too, like that smoke play they made where Jackie didn't have his BKB yet, the amazing arrows by Zephyr getting that fight to go so well. I think after that fight, it was pretty much just kind of a downhill slide for Boom, and T1 really, really, really just playing their draft out to perfection.
Yeah, it looked a little bit rocky early on, but they managed to kind of stabilize things. So definitely, hats off to T1. They get a big win here. They're one step closer to being in those grand finals, but they've got to get that second game. This is a best of 3 in Boom Esports. They're going to be looking to bounce back. So we're going to head to a quick break. Then myself, Sheepo, as well as Nat, are going to be bringing you game number 2. Stick with us.